Marshall Almroad here again with Charlie, my Mike. And I got another story for you. It's funny how, Granny had so many stories and I didn't have any. And I just said, Granny, I love stories and I want to have stories. She says, it just takes a matter of time, Marshall. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And she was right. It's just a matter of time. So I got a story here about, I do a lot of things. I like creation science. And, the first time I saw creation science, I'm gassing up my car at the local, 7-Eleven type gas station. And as I walk through the door, I see this little poster on the window, taped to the window, and it's got a dinosaur skeleton, and it said evidence for creation, and it had a phone number. I chuckled to myself and said, I wonder what kind of bozo thing that is. I'm a science guy, math and science major, so, yeah, I've heard that stuff, but evidence for creation, yeah, right. So, I asked the lady if I could take it down, photocopy it. I did, made the phone call, and it was a church. So I go, oh, got the wrong number. They go, not necessarily. What are you looking for? It's a creation thing. Oh, yeah, that's us. And the lady that answered the phone used to go to my church, so we knew each other, and I told her who I was. She goes, oh, yeah, come on. So it was Dr. Donald Chittick. He's not alive anymore, but went there, and I thought, this will be interesting. So I said, anybody selling his books? No, his book table is open. You want to help sell books? Okay, so I sold books for him, even though I don't know the guy. Anything to help, right? So I'm there, and he does 3 nights. And the first night blew me away. I mean, you're kidding me. There's evidence for creation? Never heard any of this stuff in my biology classes or my geology classes or any of the classes, science classes I took at all. Never heard any of this stuff. You're kidding me. So I was pretty shocked, and I invited my family to go, and my wife, I think, went twice, and my daughter went twice, my son went once or something like that. So, I got 3 sessions, and I got the tapes, cassette tapes and stuff. So I was listening a lot, and then I found that there was another, a couple of years later, there was a little deal on the office of my church I was going to, when the office had a little piece of paper there that said 1 week camp with Dr. Donald Chittick speaking twice a day at Camp Tadmore in Oregon. Okay. So it was like $600 a family. It's like, oh my goodness, that was a lot of money back then. But I took it out of savings and we went. My family is a life changer. If you ask my kids what vacation, and we went every year on vacation, what vacation was the best vacation you ever went on, they will all tell you Tadmore, Camp Tadmore with Dr. Donald Chittick, and they didn't want to come. So my daughter, she goes, well, I'll stay with my friend across the street. My son says, I'll stay with my cousins. I made them both go. So after the first talk, when Donald Chittick got up and spoke, my daughter came and hugged me and said, Dad, thanks for making me come to this conference. You can't pay enough money to have your daughter say that to you. That was pretty cool, really meaningful. And my son and my daughter loved every second of that camp that year. And so did I, of course, my wife. We just had a blast. But they learned something. They learned that they didn't know it all. They told me, oh, we've heard about evolution, creation, we know it all. They'd only been to 1 or 2 talks, didn't know anything. And so when they heard this, Donald Chittick is we're talking deep. He can talk about anything. It's amazing. Every time he sits down, you learn something new. He does question and answers, and based on the question and answers, he pulls his slides out and makes a new slideshow every day and puts them back in the same spot. The guy's got the stuff memorized. What a mind. So I started going to creation conferences, and I went to a creation conference in Portland. And there's more things I could tell you about that too. But one time I brought my whole family, and so we get there early, and because I know it gets full, and we got this, right, we basically saved almost a whole row, pretty close to up front, like maybe 2 rows back, and the family had to go to the bathroom, so I'm saving the seats. Well, you're not supposed to save seats, but I mean, we already got there. We're not saving them for somebody else. It's for people that are here. So this guy and his wife and kid come in, and they want to sit in my place. I go, hey, these seats are saved. He goes, you can't save seats. I said, they're just going to the bathroom. We're saving seats because they're here. Oh, okay. So he goes about 2 rows back, and he tells me later, he says, who in the heck that redneck think he is? Well, they announced that they were going to do and I'm wearing my yellow shirt with Joseph and Brigham on the front and back, and so they announced they were going to start a creation organization at lunch, and so all who wanted to go to that should meet at the in the music room. And so I went to I told my wife, hey, take the kids. I'm going to the music room. I'm going to be part of this creation, club that they're starting. So I went there, and so I'm listening, and they're asking me questions because I know some of the guys, and we're just talking. And when it got all done, you just sign up. So I signed up, and I get this. I'm talking to a few people, and I get this tap on my shoulder. So I turn around, and there's a lady there. She goes, "Mister, what does your shirt mean?" I said, "Well, this is Joseph, and that's Brigham Young. It means the Mormon Church is false." She goes, "No, it's not." I go, "Yeah, it is." She goes, "No, it's not." I said, "I can prove it is." She goes, "I'm Mormon." I said, "So? I can still prove that it's wrong." She goes, "You cannot." I said, "Can too." I said, "I've got a triple combination in my car, and I'll go out in my car, and I'll get it, and I'll come right back over here, and I'll show it to you." She says, "I got one in my car too." I said, "The only difference between you and me is I'm going to go out to the car and get my triple combination. I'm going to bring it back in here. You're going to go out to your car, and you're going to drive away." She says, "Am not." I said, "Well, we'll see." She goes, "Okay." So we both turn around. We start walking out, and I get this another tap on my shoulder. I turn around. This is a big, tall guy, cowboy guy, and he goes, "What just happened?" I said, "Well, she's Mormon, and I'm going to go show her why the Mormon Church is wrong." She goes, "Who can watch?" I go, "Anybody." "You better come back," he says. Come to find out it's that same cowboy. Wondering who this redneck is, right? So we come back. We didn't see the second half of that conference, the whole second half. We sat there with the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, Pearl of Great Price, and I showed her over and over and over all the different places that were wrong that she didn't know about. And she had no answer for anything. And when the conference got over, we had to leave. And so she said, "Well, I'm going to see you next year. I'll be back next year." I said, "Fine." So I'm starting to leave, and I get this another tap. He says, "Hey, where do you live?" I said, "I live over here in Washington State." He goes, "Well, I live over in Oregon. It's about an hour and a half away. Can you come and do my Bible study?" I said, "Yeah." So I would get off of work, and I would go straight to his Bible study. Hour and a half away, do his Bible study, get home about midnight, go back to work the next day. So I did his Bible study for about 9 months on how to witness to Mormons. Come to find out, his oldest son married a Mormon girl, and he did not know how to witness to her. And it changed his life. Him and his wife weren't doing really well. Now they're doing fantastic. They just didn't understand each other. They watched me and my wife, and the fact that we love each other, and they saw how we loved each other, and they loved each other, they just didn't express it. And so they both are thrilled to be our best friends. We're thrilled to be their best friends. You never know who's going to sit in your chair, and you tell them to get out because we're saving seats. So you just don't know what something like that would do to somebody. You never know when you wear a yellow shirt into a creation conference that somebody in there is a Mormon, and she's a hardcore Mormon. Now, the next year she showed up, and her son came off a mission. And he's a big, tall drink of water. He's probably 6'4". And she says, "I want you to meet my son." I go, "Okay." So I introduced myself to her son. I said, "We need to talk." She says, "No, you don't." I said, "You're supposed to let them have free will. Are you keeping him from having his own free will?" He goes, "Yes, I am." I said, "You gonna let your mom do that? Are you over 18? Poor guy. He has to say yes. Mom's right, always right. Mom's always right. Even when she isn't, she's always right. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun. I always have a sense of humor. You don't have a sense of humor. This is a serious thing. When you really think about it, I wear a hat that says, "Do not enter," and across that it says hell. And it's a red hat with white letters. I like wearing that hat all over the place because in all reality, who wants to go to hell? My brother just died 3 weeks ago. And, I never saw a more peaceful person die. He's sitting next to me and he goes, "Bro, I'm a realist." I go, "Yeah, so am I." He says, "I know I'm dying." He had COVID pneumonia, and it makes your lungs quit expanding. So he was suffocating slowly. I said, "Yeah, I know you're dying. There's nothing I could do because the hospital wouldn't let us medicate him the way we do. We're successful. They're not. They don't care." He says, "Well, I'm okay with it." He says, it seemed like you were. Yeah, I could see that. And so, later on, about a half hour later, I'm out with the family that's around him. All of his kids are there and some grandkids and stuff. And I'm just next to some of the kids, and he decides to announce to the whole family. He says, "I just want you to know I'm a realist, and I know I'm dying, and I'm okay with it, and so is my bro. Aren't you, bro?" I said, Not so much. Because I really wasn't. I mean, I want to have my brother with me, and I don't want him dying. And he goes, you're not? And I go, nearly not so much. No, not okay with it. I don't like it when people die. But you think about it, my brother was so confident about the Lord and about God and about waiting for his own wife and all this stuff. He got engaged about a week before he died to his girlfriend, his grade school sweetheart, basically. So you think about that. He was really confident. She was all upset because he was dying before she got to marry him. Said, why didn't we get married when we were younger? You think of all these things going on through your mind. And it's like he was a witness to his whole family, to his, this girl that we've known since we were like, 5 years old. And, as a witness to me too. And you ever think about it. I mean, he's going, I'm okay with dying. I'm okay with going to heaven. Are you really going to heaven? I mean, I can see a lot of Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses dying thinking that everything's okay. And is it really okay? The question is, do you care about your Mormon friends enough to risk offending them for the gospel's sake? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Because the bottom line is heaven or hell, smoking or non-smoking. I want to go to non-smoking. That's where I want to go. And so it's important to take the risk of offending people. It's one thing I learned from Dr. Walter Martin. He says that the church today is suffering from a dreaded disease, but it's known by the Latin name non-rockabotus. Nobody wants to rock the boat. So Walter's right. The church is still suffering from that disease. Get out of the boat and start walking on some water for Jesus.